September the 10th, 2016. We're looking at water vapor images from the Gulf of Mexico, and we're looking at the tracking of Invest 92L. Now, notice the chart in the bottom of the video. The redder the area is, the drier the area is. Just the opposite. The whiter, the wetter, and it's under the clouds. You see these white fingers at the bottom of this red glob off the west coast of Florida? Very bottom right. Those are feeder bands going into the system that we're watching. So it's fighting two things, the wind shear coming from the north and this dry air. But notice as it's moving left, it's going to get into much more moist air, and the wind shear is going, instead of from north to south, it's going from south to north. So you're going to eliminate the dry air, at the same time eliminate the wind shear that's pushing back on it. And the models are all now curving this thing up. Not only that, all the models now have the second storm coming right up into the Gulf and up into the southern states. We're going to look at that. But again, what you're seeing here, the white feeder bands that are coming up into that red area are trying to wrap around the center of circulation. The dry air is fighting it, and the wind shear. So they keep downplaying the storm. Don't let it fool you guys, because it's about to change. Notice your timestamp as we start that today on September 10th. What has changed? Now this is the Canadian model. You notice at the top CMC. They're still showing the first storm going across the Gulf into Mexico. But the second storm that we saw earlier that was going up into the East Coast is coming into the Gulf. Now, the last video, it was crossing Florida, but a little further south. Now it's up near the area that it came across when Hermine came through, but the opposite direction. Then you see it rake all the way across Florida and curve up near Mobile, Alabama. So it's moved from the Mississippi, Louisiana line to the Alabama-Florida line, guys. But these models change. Now, let's look at the latest and some of the last visible images before night sets in tonight. And again, notice in the bottom right of the storm, and we're looking at the overlay of the wind patterns. And here we're looking at moisture divergence. What's happening, it's coming out of that dry zone that it's in now. And you see the clouds in the blue area. That's all pushing against each other. Once it gets past that red barrier that you see right now, and to the right where the center of this storm is, everything's going to change. The wind shear is going to stop knocking the top of the clouds off, and moisture is coming into this thing. I'm going to play it forward, and you'll see in the last frames how much moisture is gathered to just the left section of this storm. And the tighter these lines are, they're kind of like topographic maps, the more moisture is involved in it. These numbers can go much lower than this, but this happened, guys, before I warned about the floods that hit Baton Rouge. And I did that a week ahead of time because of these red lines called moisture divergence. Now let's watch as the storm moves under these lines, and it's moving west. Again, it's predicted now to curve into the upper Gulf Coast. Look at this band right here. You've got an extreme amount of moisture building up, and the outer bands are about to get into it. Now, again, if I'm wrong about it. We're watching it. But watch as the bands change. And right there, guys, there's so much moisture involved in about probably within the next few hours after this video uploads, the weather's going to change. So as you see, again, the feeder bands in the right of the storm, and compare it to the image on the left where it's feeding into dry air, that's about to be over with. The game's going to change. I don't mind being wrong if it gives some folks a heads up. I can take the heat. Don't mind it. You can come on and say you were wrong, but I watched these a long time. Way before HAARP was invented, by the way. Watched Betsy in 1964 in the 4th grade as the levee of the Mississippi River came over and got into, it didn't get our house, but it washed the barn away. 1964, Hurricane Betsy, guys. I was in Buras, Louisiana. 69, I was in Gulfport and Biloxi, Mississippi for Hurricane Camille. 79, I was in a sailboat in the Gulf in Tropical Storm Henry behind Hurricane Frederick that wiped out Dauphin Island and Mobile, Alabama. We were the first people on Dauphin Island after the storm in the boat because it washed the bridge out, guys. Watch this a long time. I don't give HAARP much credit. I'm sorry, I just don't do it. I've seen the hand of God move these storms too many times. Here you're looking at Wonderground. This is showing that this storm in the center is not moving up the way it was. It has leveled back out and moving to the west, guys. All the storms now are listed at about 30 knots. Now, the spaghetti models on the left are the storm that's in the Gulf now, 92. Notice that's all moved out of Mexico, but look at 93L in the right image, guys. The second storm it's going to come across Florida and up into either Louisiana, Mississippi, or the Florida, Alabama coast. Now, you say, well, it's not a big storm yet, but it's not anywhere near the Gulf Stream. That's going to change in the next few days. Remember the video this morning? By the 14th, it's setting just off the Florida coast. I know, I've been doing it a long time. The models are going to change. But now this storm, instead of going up the east coast, the second storm to your right, Invest 93, all the models show it crossing Florida and coming up into the Gulf. We're watching it, guys. It's a heads up. Just don't let your guard down. Be prepared. Don't be caught off guard. Extra food and water, batteries, an evacuation plan, supplies like that never hurt. They've never hurt anyone. It's a heads up. Be safe.